It doesn't take 6 months or 7 or 8 months to figure this out.
Another battle in the fight over pay raises for Richmond police officers. Why it's taking so long for the city to vote on the issue.
A Southern Kentucky mother accused of putting her children in danger. Why it was her children that called 911.
Law enforcement officers throughout Franklin County are training for the next few days. We'll show you what they're learning coming up.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. Heavy rain drenching the region tonight, and we're tracking some strong storms moving across the bluegrass.
We could even see some high water pop up in spots. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your radar.
Yeah, storms packing a punch out there, especially, again, similar to yesterday, southeastern parts of the area. Bluegrass region today, though, getting in on the act with some heavy downpours and stronger storms earlier. Right now, we're getting a nice little line of thunder boomers beginning to flare up here into southeastern Kentucky. Sandy Hook, West Liberty, Salyersville down to Campton, and that's getting close to the London area as well. West Liberty, worst of the weather is just to our south. That's around the White Oak area and right on top of the Mountain Parkway, cruising towards Salyersville over the next 15-20 minutes or so. A lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, some gusty winds, 30-35 miles an hour. That extends to the west of Jackson and down into Boonville, southern parts of Lee County. And look at that action trying to billow up here to the north of downtown London. 3D Defender, and you want to see a little wall of some thunderstorms? That is it. Lining up from southwest to northeast. Those storms are spiking up there just a little bit. So London, Manchester, we'll get in on some of the action over the next little bit. Lake Cumberland, just a shower. Bluegrass region getting in on another increase from some rain from Versailles down to Lawrenceburg, and the overall trend is going to continue to bring some showers and storms in from the southwest. One more little complex around Bowling Green. Guys, when I come back here in a little over 10 minutes, we'll show you how this pattern may actually increase the rains into your Wednesday.
Chris, thank you. Both sides are frustrated. Today, the topic of pay raises for Richmond police officers came up again at a city commission meeting.
The city leaders say the city cannot afford pay raises, but the department says they're losing experienced police officers to other high-paying jobs in other cities. Victor Puente has the latest on the issue. It's our top story at 5:30.
The acting chief of police here in Richmond tells us they've had 15 officers leave the department this year. Now a group pushing for a pay raise says they want to see action taken. This morning's workshop meeting of the Richmond City Commission was joined by a few off-duty police officers and the acting police chief, Bob Mott. There were also members of the Ellis Coalition, named after Officer Daniel Ellis. The group has been pushing for a pay increase for police, saying they're focused on making the community safer and retaining more officers.
And they have to have backup. It's his lack of backup. It's not just wages. It's security for the officers, and officers' wives are worried about that as well as the officers.
Last month, the wives of several officers rallied outside of City Hall asking for those raises. Today, Mayor Jim Barnes said it was simply a matter of finances.
Based on the projections of revenue and ongoing expenses, this is not affordable. I'm not saying they're not worthy of that. I'm just saying it is not affordable. So where do we come up with the money?
When the meeting first began, there were also several on-duty officers in attendance. Mayor Barnes asked them to leave, saying they were more useful to the city out on patrol. The raise hasn't been voted on yet, and those asking for it say that wait has been frustrating.
It doesn't take 6 months or 7 or 8 months to figure this out.
When I came on board as mayor, we were in dire straits financially, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that that doesn't happen again.
The next meeting of the Richmond City Commission is August 23rd. In Richmond, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Right now, there are 46 full-time officers on the Richmond Police Department, but Chief Mott says only 31 of them are patrol officers.
Deputies in southern Kentucky have arrested a mother accused of leaving her children home alone for hours while they say she was at a bar. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Knox County. Deputies say the children, a 10 and 11-year-old, told them their mother, Michelle Brown, went to get a beer and was supposed to be back in 30 minutes, but she was still gone 9 hours later. Deputies arrived to her home on Poplar Grove Church Road around 1 a.m., and an hour later, they say Brown drove past the house.
The mom actually went by me in the vehicle that the daughter explained to me. the silver Mitsubishi. I chased her down. Of course, she was intoxicated and an influence. Had her friend with her. She's intoxicated as well.
Brown was arrested and charged with endangering the welfare of a minor and driving under the influence. Both children were released to social services. In Shelby County, the search for a wanted man is over. Investigators say 39-year-old Michael Grubb turned himself into police late last night. Grubb faces several charges, including kidnapping, arson, robbery, and wanton endangerment. State police believe Grubb was also holding a woman against her will. Troopers found Kirsten Edmondson of Taylorsville with him. She's okay. Grubb is in the Shelby County Detention Center. And in Carter County, a burglar who was held at gunpoint by a homeowner last year will spend several years in jail. Larry Lee Thompson pled guilty to burglary Monday. Investigators say Thompson broke into a home last September. The homeowner ended up holding him at gunpoint until police arrived. The judge sentenced Thompson to 16 years. The homeowner approved the sentence. Thompson will get credit for time served already.
One of Governor Bevin's recent appointees is off the job tonight. This afternoon, the governor issued an executive order removing the head of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Department. Stephen Edwards was appointed as the ABC commissioner back in March. In today's order, the governor says matters were brought to his attention that caused him to question Edwards' ability to lead that department. No other details were released, and there's no word yet if an interim commissioner will be named to the ABC. Kentucky is joining a lawsuit against a familiar health care and pharmaceutical company. Today, Attorney General Andy Beshear filed a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson. He claims the company used deceptive marketing for its surgical transvaginal mesh. The lawsuit is asking for millions of dollars in civil penalties under Kentucky's Consumer Protection Act. The Attorney General says the design of the product and its implantation technique can cause serious complications like erosion and organ perforation.
Frankly, dangerous is not a strong enough word for what has happened here. The known but undisclosed complications have ruined lives. Women have suffered chronic pain and horrible outcomes. And in many situations, the complications are irreversible.
According to the lawsuit, more than 15,000 women have had the mesh implanted inside their bodies in Kentucky alone.
When police are searching for a suspect on the run, they don't always have a canine to help them. So this week, law enforcement across Franklin County are getting a lesson in tracking alone. Mike Linden tracked them in a story that's new at 5:30.
For the next 5 days, law enforcement officers from throughout Franklin County are coming together to learn how to track without the use of a canine unit.
We stepped in here, there should be some bruising in here.
Officers from the Franklin County Police Department, KSP, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife are getting up close and personal with the outdoors.
Does that look like the heel where that would have pushed that back?
These officers are learning how to track.
We're talking about footprints, we're talking about mass leaves, bent grass, broken sticks, animal disturbances like bee nest or ant nest.
Hull is a retired Virginia game warden who now teaches officers nationwide about tracking. He says the tools needed to track are with you from birth, your eyes.
The intelligence gathering effect of tracking is so beneficial to see who's been here and who hadn't been here, how long has it been since they've been here.
Officers will spend the next 5 days mapping out tracks placed by Hull. After the training is complete, officers can use their newfound skills to gather evidence and reconstruct crime scenes, all without the help of a canine unit.
All the technology in the world will never replace a well-trained human being.
In Franklin County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Individual training will continue for the next 2 days, and for the final 3 days, officers will group together and track as a team.
Tonight we have a follow-up to a good question that we talked about last week, and it prompted some viewer emails. We have some more information and a new picture of a black and white American flag in Lexington. Our good question from Rick: I saw a black and white American flag flying in Meadowthorpe neighborhood in Lexington. My question is, what does a black and white American flag mean or stand for? Rick sent us some new information. He says this is the black and white American flag flying at the main entrance to the Meadowthorpe neighborhood in Lexington, beneath the red, white, and blue American flag on the neighborhood pole. If you look closely, you can also see a blue stripe on the flag. The thin blue line flag honors law enforcement. And the blue represents the officer and the courage they find deep inside when faced with insurmountable odds. And the black background was designed as a constant reminder of fallen officers. And together, they symbolize the camaraderie law enforcement officers all share, a brotherhood like none other. Rick, thank you for that update, and thanks for clearing up that good question. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@wkyt.com.
Delays are slowing down crews working on the Interstate 75 interchange in Scott County, coming up when drivers will finally get some relief from the traffic.
I'm Bill Bryant. The candidates for president now have teams in place to transfer power. Rand Paul will take to the baseball field as he campaigns, and some radio ads grab attention in the heated battle for the state house. The bottom line is ahead.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
The presidential candidates are getting ready for the November election and putting together their transition teams.
And Senator Rand Paul is trying to make sure his opponent, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, doesn't have a home field advantage. Bill Bryant explains in the bottom line.
Good evening. With the general election now less than 3 months away, the major party candidates for president are putting together transition teams in case they win. The winner will have to assume control of the federal government on January 20th. Today, Hillary Clinton's campaign announced that she has tapped former Interior Secretary Ken Salazar to lead her transition team should she be victorious in her bid for the White House. Republican Donald Trump has chosen New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to lead his transition efforts. Federal law requires both nominees to have access to offices and information in Washington so they can plan a potential administration. Senator Rand Paul is running for re-election against Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, and he's doing his best to keep the mayor from having a major home field advantage in Fayette County. Paul's campaign says he will take part in batting practice tomorrow with the Lexington Legends. Paul will also pose for pictures and throw out a ceremonial pitch around midday tomorrow. It's not his first time mixing politics and baseball. Paul also took some swings with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers earlier in the year. Gray is traveling the state a lot lately while pointing out to his Lexington base some local accomplishments. An email from the mayor's office highlights that Wallet Hub recently named Lexington one of the 10 best-run cities in the country. Lexington came in at number 6 on that list. House Republicans are airing ads aimed at taking out the top 2 Democrats in the Kentucky House. Those ads target House Speaker Greg Stumbo and Majority Floor Leader Rocky Adkins in their home districts in eastern Kentucky. Republicans are trying to win control of the State House in Frankfort for the first time since 1920. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Some good news tonight for drivers in Scott County. Construction on a new Interstate 75 interchange is back on schedule.
The Transportation Cabinet says the interchange should be open to traffic in mid-December. The project had been delayed because of utility relocation issues, but community leaders helped crews finish the remaining work. The new interchange will help ease traffic issues on Cherry Blossom Way and Connector Road.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Tropical skies out there finally unloading on us yesterday, and even more so today with showers and thunderstorms that are packing lightning and some very heavy rain. Starting to see that threatening sky creeping back into Lexington. We're looking toward the southwest where we have another little band of some rain and maybe a thunder and lightning coming back into town. Now raining on the west side of town, 79 degrees. Humidity is at 84%. Just absolutely off the charts. Waves of showers and thunderstorms. Get you caught up on eastern Kentucky where these storms are a little stronger. Looks like they're putting out a little gust front now. See that little green? That's where the radar is picking up on those gusty winds that are stirring up things from the Mountain Parkway corridor, West Liberty, Salyersville, Campton, and then southwest cruising into parts of Breathitt County, just to the west of Jackson. Good folks here into the east side of Beattyville, down to Boonville, picking up on some thunder and lightning. And this storm north of Manchester, right on top of the Clay-Jackson County line, is cruising to the east with some very heavy rain. Has the most lightning of any storm in eastern Kentucky as of now. Richmond, Berea, down into the Rockcastle County area, had some showers and storms earlier. Not too bad right now. Though look what we find across the Lexington Metro. Rain that is coming back in right on top of the Bluegrass Parkway. Folks into Salvisa, heading up toward Versailles and getting into Georgetown and Lexington over the next half hour. Some at least light to moderate rains. Had a little thunder and lightning with this stuff around Bowling Green, beginning to calm down just a little bit now. Cold front is out there. Flow continues to come from the southwest, so you know what we do tomorrow? We crank up some more thunderstorms. They can put down heavy rains and a lot of lightning. And temperatures tomorrow may be held a little cooler than what we had out there today. A lot of upper 70s to low 80s that will show up. 3-day threat track heading into tomorrow. Thunderstorms are likely, some heavy rains. Should catch a bit of a break at some point Thursday afternoon into the evening, with still the possibility of a storm or two, some heavier downpours with any storm across southern Kentucky especially. Friday, high school football fans, watch for a thunderstorm or two to creep back into the overall weather picture. That's one we'll keep a close eye on. Thunderstorm chances ramping up this weekend. Short term, we go through the day tomorrow. You get these waves of showers and storms to come at us from southwest to northeast right on through tomorrow evening. Tomorrow's setup is a little more of a heavy rainmaker than what we've had out there today, because the actual front is right on top of the area. Little good news later Thursday. Starts out gray, you get into the afternoon, some sunshine begins to show up. Forecast on your Friday. As we get deeper into the afternoon and evening, the threat for some thunderstorms will begin to increase, and by the time we go into Saturday and Sunday, got a cold front that's heading our way with an increase in showers and thunderstorms, then a big decrease in temperatures. We'll track that front coming up in the next half hour. 7-day forecast, upper 70s to low 80s over the next few days. Showers and storms tomorrow will thin out a little bit on Thursday, ramping it back up late Friday into Saturday and Sunday, and the long-range call with that fall feel coming back into play into the first half of next week. Here is your live drive traffic right now. Wet roads still across Lexington, and still some slowdowns out there, and 3 accidents that we're tracking across the city.
Is it wrong to look ahead to Monday already?
Not at all.
Football weather.
It is, and you know what? Actual football weather's just about here.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
Brian's up next, and there's been a slight change to the UK alumni charity basketball game.
Yeah, it's turning into a softball game featuring several former Wildcats and well-known celebrities. And Drew Barker saying today he's the point guard of the football offense. His job, get the ball to the playmakers. Sports is next. The wheels never stop turning in the mind of John Calipari. With Rupp Arena under renovation for the start of the basketball season, Calipari will head to Whitaker Bank Ballpark for his annual summer charity event. The Coach Cal Celebrity Softball Classic will head out to the Diamond August 28th, with proceeds benefiting the Calipari Foundation. Here's a list of the celebrities who will play in that game: Carl Anthony Towns, Kyle Macy, Nerlens Noel, Alex Poitras, Randolph Morris, and I'm sure there will be several others. Other participants are expected to include Tim Couch, Hall of Fame wide receiver Chris Carter, UK baseball coach Nick Mingione, ESPN sideline reporter Kaylee Hartung, actors Josh Hopkins, Steve Zahn. More ticket information for this extravaganza is at CoachCalSoftballClassic.com. Coming off that first scrimmage on Saturday, the football Cats with another 2-a-day practice today and this afternoon. Head coach of the offense, Eddie Grand, said he's pleased with where his offense is heading into their second full week of practice. Quarterback Drew Barker says Grand's new offensive scheme pretty simple: get the ball to the playmakers.
The ball gets passed around a lot. I mean, everyone gets a ton of touches, so I think that's the biggest thing. Kind of keeps everyone happy, but also the guys are playing for each other more, and I think that's a testament to Coach Grand, Coach Henshaw, and Coach Thomas. Making everybody more selfless and more about the team. So I've seen great attitude out of everybody, and that's probably the biggest thing is the attitude that the new coaches brought, for sure.
EKU continues its preseason camp in Richmond, and with a new coaching staff, 40 new players, so many things new. There's plenty of competition at every position. Head coach Mark Elder says at this point every starting role is up for grabs.
There is a ton of competition going on here. There's very little difference between R1s and R2s, which is a good thing by and large. So what that means is that everybody is truly trying their hardest to win a starting spot because there's nobody out here that's just got it locked up. This is my spot. I own it. The next guy's way behind me.
Here's a good look at Jeffrey Kennedy coming up in the next half hour. It's the high school football previews, 27 teams in 27 days. A look at Clark County. That's sports. We'll be right back.